Hello and welcome back to Alyena's Kitchen, where today we are making a cinnamon roll bundt cake. This cake is so delicious and full of flavor with a delicious cream cheese frosting, which makes everything better in my opinion. So let's get started. The first thing we are going to do is cream together our room temperature butter. We use a lot of butter in this recipe. We actually have 1.5 cups, and I'm going to just add this into my mixer. And I'm going to beat this at a high speed for about 1 minute before I add in my sugar. We can slowly start to add in 2.5 cups of our granulated sugar while our mixer is beating, and you're going to want to beat this for about 4 to 5 minutes until it's a really nice light color and it's super fluffy. Now with your mixer on a low speed, we can start to add in our eggs. We're using 6 eggs, and you're going to want to add them in one at a time, letting them get fully combined, scraping down your bowl as needed. We can now add in our dry ingredients. You're going to want to have 3 cups of cake flour, but I can never find cake flour in the store, so it's really easy to make it at home. You just take all-purpose flour, and for each cup you use, you take out 2 tablespoons and add in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So that's my trick. We can slowly add this into our mixture on a low speed. With your mixer still going on a low speed, we can add in 1 teaspoon of salt along with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And for this recipe, by the way, you do want to be using unsalted butter. If you are using salted butter, you just can cut your salt amount in half. Okay, I'll let this mix together a little bit more, and then we can add in our wet ingredients. Next, I'm adding in 1 cup of sour cream. Now I'll put my mixer back on a low speed to mix in my sour cream, and you really don't want to over mix your batter, so I'm going to be nice and quick now. I'll add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract along with 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and let everything get fully combined, and then we are done with our cake. But you might be asking yourself, this is a cinnamon roll cake, where's the cinnamon? Well, that's coming. Here comes the cinnamon and our cinnamon sugar mixture that we're going to be putting inside of our cake. We have 1/3 cup of melted butter, which I'm going to add into my bowl, along with 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now we can just mix this all together. Let's bundt it up. I have my bundt cake here, and you really don't want your mixture to stick, so I am doing my double method of buttering it along with flouring it. So you're going to start with just buttering your whole pan. Now I'm just going to sprinkle some flour into my pan and shake it around so it's completely floured. Now I'm just going to dump out my remaining flour because you don't want it to be too much flour, and we can start adding our cake in. So I'm actually going to do this in layers. I'm going to add in 1/3 of my cake at a time and alternate adding in my cinnamon sugar mixture. Now we can add in the next 1/3 of our cake mixture and the other half of our cinnamon swirl. You can either use a knife or a skewer, and we're just going to swirl our cinnamon sugar throughout our batter. So when we cut into it, it'll have this beautiful marble effect. Or at least it should. If it doesn't, then I did something wrong. Now, the very important part before you get to enjoy your cake is baking it. I have set my oven to 325 degrees, and you're going to want to bake this for 85 to 95 minutes or until you poke it with a toothpick and it comes out clean. Our cake is now out of the oven and it looks absolutely delicious, and I've let it cool for about 10 minutes in the pan, and now the moment of truth, flipping it out. And isn't she a beauty? She flipped out perfectly. Now you're going to want to let your cake completely cool before you add your icing, or if you're not making icing, you can enjoy it as is, but I really recommend icing. I think it makes everything better. So I'm gonna go let this cool and crack on with my icing. While our cake is cooling, we can start on our icing. So I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of softened butter, along with 2 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now I'm just going to blend this all together until it's nice and smooth. Next, I can add in 1.5 cups of sifted sugar, and I'm actually going to be going back and forth between adding in my powdered sugar as well as a 1/4 cup of whole milk. But I'm going to start with my sugar. And here we have our delicious, finished, silky smooth icing. Now we just have to go check on the cake. Now we are in the home stretch and it's almost time to eat our cake. But first, we have to ice it. This looks delicious. And I love how it's starting to drip down the sides and look all pretty. And now the best part, getting to taste it. Ooh, and I gotta get a nice big piece with icing. That's so good. Wow. So moist. One thing with Bundt cakes that I always find is that they're dry. This is so light, so fluffy, and I love that I have this swirl throughout it. That's what I was looking for. So please let me know if you try this recipe and what you think in the comments down below. And I want to say a really special thank you to Grand Baby Cakes, who I got this recipe from. It's absolutely delicious and it's also beautiful. So it's the best of both worlds. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow. And if you want to see more delicious bakes such as these, there should be a playlist right here or over here of all of my recipes. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!